So we'll place that on the agenda next week. Next item, A-Trip Bridge Project Agreement. You got any questions?
Yes, sir, thank you. This is the agreement that the county would enter into with the state of Alabama for the replacement of County Road 213 Bridge, Mud Creek Bridge. 165-foot structure. And this agreement will be on the 80-20 breakdown as the others were. And the project costs are in that breakdown in the agreement that I sent to you guys. And Bob, you might want to add something about this breakdown.
Yeah, it's just typical 20% that we have to pay up front on all these A-Trip projects. And so it's just like all the rest of it. I think this is what, we got this one and one more.
This is our final A-Trip
This is the
project.
final one?
Yes, sir.
So this will be the final A-Trip project. Right. It looks like that's the same one that's been moved down to the special meeting too, because you needed the time frame.
Yes, sir.
To get that.
Yes, sir. We received this agreement at the Thursday, I believe, and the project is scheduled to let 25th.
They completed the study, they went up through some kind of historical thing.
We had yes, sir, we did. All that's complete. We did our advertisement for the historical clearances.
This don't include purchasing any more right of way that will be needed. That's at our cost. Do you foresee us having to purchase any more right of way to complete this?
No, sir. The only area that's not in these project limits that will require some negotiation is at the very end, across from the boat launch area. We have to make a tie-in to a drive that serves several residents. All that is planned to occur on current right of way. Everything else, the alignment is the same, the road profile is the same, with the addition of the new alignment at the time of the period.
Did you say the bid date was?
Scheduled late the 25th.
This month?
Yes, sir. This week.
Any questions or comments?
What's the time frame for completion?
It's like approximately a year. 150 working days.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, this is one that we needed to move forward with this afternoon, so if there's no objection, we'll place that on the special meeting agenda. Okay, next item, the Southwest Power taking over Park Electrical.
Yeah, so right now we're master meters, which master meter means that we own, we're responsible for everything from that meter into the park, campground, boat ramps, everything in there. Anywhere from primary lines to your transformers and everything. If they take it over, they want to take it back over and be responsible for all the primary lines and that kind of thing. We went master meter about 7 years ago, so I think they want to do a little more work down there, bury some primary lines and that sort of thing.
Why did we go away from it to start with?
That's just something the board did, so they made the deal with them, so I have no idea.
Liability issue, for us.
Well, one thing, that's what they sold them on the first time, was the liability issue, but Philip, the new manager over at Scottsboro Electric, he says either way, if anything happened, Scottsboro Electric would still be held responsible for it, since we've got so many overhead primary lines.
If you do this, will they put meters at, like each of your docks, where the boats are, or will they?
We'll just stay, as of right now, we'll just stay master metered, and he said down the road we would probably do that.
Put meters at all your campgrounds and?
Yeah, you have to have probably 5-6 meters.
Initially, they'll just be taken over.
Usually they should be taken over, yes. And, you know, we had a little bit of work done out there, you know, we had some power run to the new lots we're building, so that would be included in with it. That we wouldn't be charged for it.
What happens to our rates where we include electrical utilities?
Nothing should happen.
We'd still be billed and
Yeah.
we'd still pay that.
Do what, sir?
We'd still be billed even if they changed the metering, they'd
Oh,
bill
yeah,
us.
we'd still, you'd just get 6 bills instead of 1.
I got you.
If you get, you know, 5 meters or
So
how many
they'll
meters
still
you
be
got.
billing us as the customer. I
Right.
got you.
And it's not gonna affect the rate or anything like that.
Right.
And, I think Mr. Porter, he's their lawyer also there, right? Philip talked to me about that. So. But he says he's got with some of his board members, and I don't think our board members meet until what, April? 1st of April, is that right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said that he's got with some of his board members, and he wanted me to put it before y'all first, see what y'all thought, vote on it, and then he would bring it before his board the next time they meet, around 1st of April. But he didn't see any problem with it.
Questions or comments? Any thoughts on this or how we should proceed? Maybe good to take this next week and,
I will tell you, when we purchased that, we paid them $12,000 for everything that was in there. The board did. Now, we've spent a whole lot more money than that the past 7 years on things we've had to buy, things we've had to purchase. So he says as long as it's you know, they don't have to pay anything, you know, and everything, then it would be a done deal. You know, he would think.
But in the future, if any of that equipment break down,
Any-
they're responsible for replacing it.
Right, right. Transformer, primary lines, you know, all that stuff. Now, we're still responsible for secondary,
Yeah.
okay, but any primary meter.
We have a transformer go out down there tomorrow, we have to buy it.
Right,
But if we let them
Right.
take over the service on it, then
right.
I think there's some more information we probably need. I don't know if we'll be able to have something done necessarily by April, depending on when their meeting is, but, let's look at the legal side of it and see what kind of, like, you know, that type of transfer would entail. And, would anyone be opposed if we push it off a little bit, but put it at the next work session on the 4th? That'd be fine. Give us a little time to understand a little bit more and get any paperwork together that we need to also. Okay, next items regarding the signs and striping on County Road 255. Mr. Turner kind of made mention of some of the issues, and I don't know if we have the picture. Yeah, you've got a picture in your packets here that's been sent to us about part of the drainage issue. I spoke with Mr. Campbell last week on it, and I think he's already been researching some of it. But if you could tell us kind of the process for stop signs and where we're at on that.
That's the intersection. I had received some correspondence here. I guess Mr. Turner stopped by the office and expressed some concerns about 255 where he lives. And it says here that he's concerned with the traffic, like he mentioned, that he needs some stop signs such as a three-way stop at 256. He feels that this would slow the traffic coming down 255. And it says on this correspondence that he asked for a tile to be installed at the end of his driveway and was told he had to be put on the list. And it says after several months, you'd check the status and they were told you would be charged for it. Am I getting all this right?
yes, sir.
And then you expressed that they had installed some tile, a tile on 256, which is sending water to your driveway, and then the pictures you had of it flooding.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And then a request also for striping, as you mentioned, on 255. So in looking at this, according to our records, some of these are recurrent requests. It looks like in 2012, You're requesting some material out of your driveway and installing a larger driveway pipe, and then in 2008, we had a request had been made for a three-way stop in this location. That's all right. All right, so we still had the correspondence from the 2008 study that was done, the engineering study that was performed in that area. And I'll just state some things before I get into the details of this particular one, but a multi-way stop control can be a useful safety measure at intersections when certain traffic conditions exist. And the two main factors in that are volumes of traffic that meet the criteria, as well as equal volumes on the legs of the intersection. Okay, so in looking at that, all those decisions are governed by an MUTCD, which the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, which the state follows, the county follows. It's a national standard. So in looking at that and applying it to 255, like I said, it's based on an engineering study of those numbers. So the numbers in 2008 are basically, if you look at the main factor of that on the volumes, they're a tenth at what the criteria would be to warrant a stop condition for a three-way stop condition. Now the other part of that I mentioned is not only the volumes, but the equal distribution on the legs. And with 255 being the main route and 256 intersecting, you're at approximately half the volume at 256 as you are on 255. So you're at a tenth of the threshold of the requirement on 255, and you're at half of that on 256. So, like I said, these are 2008 numbers from the request that was done then. I will add that there's a 25 mile per hour speed limit that's posted on that roadway. And that was based on the 85th percentile approach speed study that was done somewhere along that same time and posted when the speed concerns were voiced. Other criteria may be considered, such as crash reports, 5 or more crashes in a 12-month period. And what you're looking for in those crash reports are right turn, left turn collisions, or right angle collisions. So not necessarily just that number of crashes, but ones in particular to those conflict points where the streams of traffic would intersect. At the time that this study was done, there was one crash in that 5-year period. So considering this information and considering the volumes, these are 2008 numbers, so I just wanted to share that information that we had on file with you.
What would it take to look at the volumes again? I know a lot more work has started with the coal plant and the ash ponds,
Right.
closing those. So would it be, I think that would be the first part. If the volumes aren't there, then you move on maybe to the crash reports, or I don't know, whatever.
We could do that. We can establish current numbers. I will suspect you'll find, like Mr. Turner's voiced, an increase in truck traffic. So an increased volume on 255, if it's 10 times as much, I don't know, but you're still likely going to be disproportionate on your intersecting road to warrant a stop condition.
What about yields?
A yield for 255. A yield on 255,
Just to get them to slow down.
right,
See, I was even having trouble getting the mail lady to run and put mail in my mailboxes. It was too dangerous. You didn't even want to stop putting the mail in.
what you get into if the conditions don't warrant, and it'll bear it out in the way the drivers react. They will either not obey the stop condition, either slow down and roll through it, which is, studies show that's 50% more likely in cases where it don't warrant, or you'll see an increase in crashes because you're stopping the mainline traffic. So you see rear end accidents, things of that nature. Not to mention the noise that's going to occur if all this truck traffic is now stopping in that location. But also There was another detail there.
I think updated, review of the numbers to give us an idea if it's still that disproportionate on 256 or more so. I think that would explain so much for us, but it's been 8 years since that
Right,
last study,
right.
so.
And there's also been a lot of wrecks there too that's probably not been reported where somebody's records come up there and snatch them out of the ditch and that's the end of it. It's probably not on file. I mean, there's been a bunch of wrecks there.
Crashes without police reports.
Yes.
You think?
Yes.
Why would they do that?
I have no idea. I know there's, even the county road sign, it's been hit, you don't tell how many times, and I would go there, because I mow all that during the summer down there where we can see coming out of the driveway. And I have to go there and fix the signs all the time where it gets hit, it gets pushed over.
Have you had an opportunity to look at cost on striping for that?
Yes, sir. It's a little over 2 miles, roughly.
Is that the entire length of the road?
The entire length of 255, and there's new pavement out there. It looks like it was funded by a
TBA.
project involved TBA. And it does not have stripe on it. So, the older section of 255, it's unstriped as well. So you're looking at $1,500 for a center line stripe, approximately.
So those were two of the requests. I think you got to discuss the pipe in the driveway and look at our policies on that. But is everyone okay with proceeding? We need to make a decision at some point, I guess, on the striping. We do have started that process. Is that correct?
Striping.
Yeah.
Yeah, the projects you guys voted on, those priorities of mountainsides and other areas, citizen requests, things of that nature. That requires pavement temps at 50 degrees and above, so that's starting this week. So if we want to make any additions, we need to catch the contractor.
We don't have the capability of striping ourselves, so we have to depend on the contractor.
That's correct.
On the stop sign, if everyone's okay, we'll move forward with what was stated. We'll have a study done. Is that correct?
Yeah, we can do an engineering study, get some current traffic numbers.
Is that okay with everyone on that? And then on the striping, how do we want to proceed with that?
Put it on the agenda.
Next meeting to be voted on that.
All right, and then we'll look at the pipe question that's brought up. And I
What
think
was the question on the time?
it was replacing the tile that was in place, and I think there's some discussion as to whether the county was responsible for the material or not. And I think we need to look back at I think you requested that 2012, is that
Yes, sir.
correct?
What's wrong
You want to increase it?
Well, they came up and cleaned out all the tiles up there and widened some. Like, even the city under 255 came in and redone all the tiling in it. So now I'm just getting bombarded with water and my tile won't hold it.
You just need a bigger
I
time.
need a bigger tile.
I had some questions. I was wondering when you took this picture. Do you remember when it was taken?
Which one?
This one.
I don't remember what date it was.
Okay. I
Is it
tried to call
Yeah,
you.
I mean, it was probably this winter.
Yeah. Was it during Christmas? Was it the Christmas flood?
No, I don't think it wasn't Christmas. I mean, I don't remember this.
Yeah. The reason I had some questions for you, it looks like above and below you is 18 inch, which is what yours is, and there was a cross drain that comes under 255, it's an 18 inch as well, and looks like it goes down just below you, and there's a double run that goes under the road.
Mm-hmm.
So I was
And then
curious.
there's a lot of water that comes out of that field too, because everything's on a hill right there where I live.
Yeah,
So all the water valleys down in there at the bottom of that field and then comes and dumps over. There's actually 3 spots I'm getting water on that one side of the tile over there.
it looks, from this picture, it looks like a lot of water's coming
Correct.
out of the field in there.
Correct. And then I'm getting it from the tile that goes under the road and then that other ditch that runs up through there. So it's actually 3 spots that's going into my one tile.
Okay. We hadn't had a chance to look at the drainage situation on this, but I do know we've done some field looking and hadn't looked at topos and raining numbers, but know, the proximity of the cross drain of the road and the cross drain downstream from where the water has to go, lower in the ditch line is likely not an option. So if you look at the minimum cover that's required at your driveway and the size pipe you have, going larger is gonna reduce that cover, which is not a good option. And going deeper with your ditch, the water can't get out, you know what I'm saying? So it may be more of an option of adding another run of pipe or adding another run of, 2 or more. Something like that may be an option we can explore. But a larger pipe is likely gonna bring about some bigger issues for you.
Continue with that. Any other questions on this? So we'll add the item, we'll do a study on our signs and add the striping item to our agenda next Monday. Okay. That concludes the items on our work session portion, so we'll move on to our special meeting. We have 3 items there, so I'll entertain a motion and a second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Okay, next item, first item for this is motion to approve and adopt the multi-hazard mitigation plan. You have a resolution in your packets. This was kind of something that's needed in a hurry as well. Mr. Asheville brought this to us. We've been working on a hazard mitigation plan, and in order to be able to receive some funding from FEMA if it becomes available, we need to move forward with the process. So this is that next step in the process. And, any questions or comments on this?
Did we produce this document, or is it?
This is a standard
The
document.
one that the ACCA has.
Right. Actually, very similar. I think Marshall County had just adopted it, and it's the same thing again that they had used. Any questions or comments on this? Porter, you have anything?
No, it's pretty standard and required.
We have a motion then to adopt this resolution.
Make that motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Okay, next item's a motion to concur with the quote for Roto-Rooter regarding plumbing repairs on the jail. Again, this is an incident that occurred Friday where a boiler had gone out. And you should have the quote. There it is, okay. Boiler had gone out and some emergency repairs that need to be taking place, so it asked that the commission concur with this. And this is a Roto-Rooter out of Gunnersville that has is going to do the work. This is one piece of fixing the problem, is replacing that boiler, and that's what this includes. And I think we want to go back and look at the replacement of some of the pipes after this is done to a different type of metal that would be more secure, and hopefully, as I understand it, won't leak quite as much. Is that correct?
Right.
And that's something we're trying to get some quotes on. That's something we can do after the fact, but this was something that had to move forward with quickly. So any questions or comments on this before we proceed? So do we have a motion to approve or concur with this decision?
Make that motion.
Motion, we have a second. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Okay, next item, motion to approve and sign the A-Trip Bridge Project Agreement for County Road 2123. This is for Mud Creek Bridge. Again, just discussed in the work session. Are there any more questions before we proceed? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the agreement as presented?
So moved.
Motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. That concludes all the items for our work session and meeting, so we'll move on to our reports. Mr. Van? Mr. Campbell? Mr. Barnes? Mr. Porter?
Just go back to the, Roto-Rooter. It should show, the minute should show that was an emergency.
Okay.
Yes.
Make sure that clarifies that in there. Anything else? Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Chief Deputy? Mr. Arnold?
Happy Easter.
Judge Brown?
Happy Easter. And I have one other thing. I wanted to mention to y'all, I would say about our organizational chart in our office, but I should say lack of. We don't have one. I talked with Matthew about it a little bit, and most of the other offices are set up with clerks 1, 2s, and 3s, or HMT 1, 2, and 3, or macro 1, 2, and 3. So everything's kind of set up. We don't have that. We need something. We need that. I don't really, we had pulled up and I had talked to him and Mr. Ledwell, I guess it was my first year in when we had our budget hearing. And we'd kind of drawn up something that resembled the other offices. And then everything happened and then nothing happened. But I wanted to mention that to y'all. I don't know what you want me to, I don't know what you want me to get to bring to talk about, but we don't have anything. I have a chief clerk, which by law I have to have a chief clerk. I have a vacant assistant chief clerk. I have I think a superior recording clerk. I have a business license clerk. I have a conservation clerk. I have a driver's license clerk. And that would, to me, that would hint that that's what your job is. And definitely now that's not the case.
Most all other offices, we now have an organizational chart if you want to start trying to rise an organizational chart.
Absolutely. And we've got one that we had talked about my first year in.
We've
That
been-
we were here.
I think we talked at one time about building for all departments, and we just haven't gotten the probate one yet, so that would be. now the same.
So, I mean, I don't know, what's so funny first, but other than that, I don't know what you want me to bring. Do you want me to go with pay scales? What do you want me to do? What do we need to do?
I think what we talked about, we can pull that together and see, use that. We had a standard, and I think everybody had seen some of the standards when we went through the reorganization with, Public Works. Of course, now we just did, the Revenue Commission mapping, we did sanitation. So we've got that standard, so we can put it together in that standard and, bring it to the work session.
We're in the commission office as well.
Yeah, the new commission office. I don't think we've done the sheriff's office yet, but where we go.
We have an organizational chart.
Right. Okay, anything else?
Happy Easter.
That's good, thank you. Mr. Miller,
No, sir.
Mr. Venable,
April 4th meeting at Faculty, and next week's meeting is community meeting. All right, that's public.
committee meeting and public hearing,
And it's
Stevenson, at the North Jackson High School,
Stevenson's this.
What time?
6 p.m. Anything else?
That's it.
Mr. Guthrie,
Sounds good.
Mr. Level?
No, sir.
All right, that concludes the items as stated. Two back-to-back basically. Next week's in Stevenson at 6 p.m. at the high school, and then at the Faculty Community Center, correct?
Correct.
At 6 p.m. on the 4th. And next week we'll have a regular meeting, community meeting, and our public hearing actually will be before the first thing that we do regarding, I think it's 274. That's right. All right, that concludes everything for our agenda this afternoon, so I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no.